for the explanation. Well appreciated.
The other phone.
Isaac.
So the answer, you say you can 100% do that because an informal system. But then when you make available services and support systems that addresses their needs, they themselves will come to, say you're a community organization or you're a local government. The question itself, you need to conduct an assessment to understand what are the needs of these informal carers and how can I provide services and responses to them. When you have that, they will come to you and you identify them. I hope it's clear.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Hello. Actually, I just want to add something too. You see, when we look at kinship as fostering, that is, to me, is the best way to place a child, because there's a testimony that I can build on when we have issues with SOS in Tamale. They were doing institutional distance, so we came with this idea, and later they buy into our idea, and what they do is that they pay mothers, they train them, and they pay them, and they put them in the community where they have children with them, they socialize with them and do everything with them, and then they make sure that they help the family when they are doing reunification. Now, what I want to know is that people, especially I'm from the northern sector, when kinship, from the beginning, like my brother said from Nigeria, or who, the one in red, said, it is there within us, but where I am coming from, they were those people who were doing all the trench work in the home, in the house. They even wash their colleagues, their dress whilst they are there, and they denied them to go to school. This was what was happening. Now that we are opening eye, let's do serious sensitization within the community, and I hope they will buy into this idea, and that will help placing the child in the right way. Thank you.
Thank you too very much.
So just one last person. No, we already counted 4. So please, during the break, you can also meet them to ask more questions.
Okay, thank you so much, and I must commend the panelists. That was actually exhaustive, but I have few questions to. Yeah, it's all interrelated, not questions as in. Okay, we have children that you get them for trafficking. You get children that have this widowhood issues, that they lost their husbands and their kinsmen retrieved everything that belonged to their father. And then we have children, disabled children, social stigma, and we also have poverty and people from conflict areas. So where would you put this kind of children? Because before you take children for alternative care, it's a holistic approach, just like the last panel said, that it's all about collaborations. So if we're looking at kinship, we don't need institutional care. Just like, for me, I think it's just a transition point, not a permanent stay. So if we retrieve all of this, what happens to this set of children, especially in Africa, Nigeria, let me use Nigeria, where widowhood right has not been implemented, where most of the children from conflict zones, their kinsmen use them as house helps, all in the name of taking care of them. The schools they attend is different from where their own children attend. And then we have some of these relations that take these kids to mining sites where they mine. So where do we place these children? Thank you.
Thank you, my dear sister. That is where emergency foster, permanent and short time comes in. So that maybe is a young small boy or a girl Now, being in emergency or short-term foster care will not grow and stand on his own. Like my president was saying, that is the need that government should also have a facility, but not an orphanage home. I am not a supporter of orphanage home. I like this family care system. Thank you.
I just want to say something. To be real to ourselves and to be practical to our situation and context, how many of us have really functional foster care systems in our countries? And I think the question is in the context of what do we do now? I agree with what you just said, but I also know that we don't have those functional systems right here. What I'm trying to say is that we should be real to our situation and know how we gradually solve our problems. When we become so idealistic, we might jump into interventions that will not work, and at the end of the day we'll come back to where we are. And so we need to understand our communities and our and what will work for us. If it's an informal system that we can strengthen, that will help us, good. If we already have some shelters in our homes, that will help us for now as we are moving towards family-based care or foster care. Nothing prevents that, but we just need to make sure that the underlying factor is the safety or safeguarding the safety of children and ensuring their best interest is secured in all of these conversations. Thank you.
All right, so we're
Okay, can I say?
we are not taking any more questions. Oh,
Okay, let me just say something, please. I want to say that for what we're saying is formalized kinship care. Go and register, tell government or your local area, your community, I have child A with me, and he's my cousin or my niece. Just formalize it for registration purpose. Then once that is done, also within the community, and that's what we are encouraging, that within the community can also, by the time they see, there was a time when I was working somewhere in Abuja, I saw a child, a 12-year-old child, probably from the south, and the mother, so to speak, was using wood to hit her. And the first time I noticed that, the second time I went to her, I said, "Madam, is this child your daughter? Is she your biological daughter?" She said, "What is your own problem?" She started, she was very ferocious. And I said, "Madam, if this child is not your child, why don't you return the child back to where you picked her from?" These are the things communities should begin to do. When, okay, this child is not your child, and your next door neighbor, he can come up and say, "Look, this child is not going to the same school where your own children are going." Why? By the time your neighbor knows, or you know that your neighbor will always ask you, then it becomes a better and a safer community for our children. So what we're saying is formalize the kinship care. The foster care, like the other person said, we don't have a very workable system. But I believe with time, we will get there to have better fostering families. But for now, let's formalize it. Let the community know who you are taking and who you are not taking. Thank you.
all right, so we are wrapping up. We are wrapping up on that point. The conversation will continue over lunch if you want with anybody here, but we are wrapping up on that point. And by way of summary, I would say that no one is saying that orphanages or shelters are bad. But what we are saying is that children should not be kept in orphanages until they are adults. They should be transitioned into families as much as possible. And we must always look at family strengthening so that children can stay in families. Thank you very much to my wonderful panel. We'll be having lunch in a bit. Thank you.
All right, let's celebrate each and every one of them for an amazing session. Please put your hands together for them. All right, so because I'm a bearer of good news, I have brought good news to us. Lunch is ready. Please clap for me. I've brought good news. Only those on this side will eat. Those on this side will not eat. I said lunch is ready. Those on this side, you won't clap. And they are picking people.